I just remembered the first part of the dream. I just remember this. I'm saying this after the first. I just said this is coming chronologically after me doing this second part of the dream. But I remember the first part of the dream. The first part of the dream is there's I was on Google Maps, and then I was looking at neighborhoods, and then I end up looking in Huntsville for some reason, and I end up just magically transporting to Huntsville. And I'm in Huntsville, and I'm looking up at the sky, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, there's a fucking tornado. And then I'm looking for a tornado shelter, and then somehow I end up at a hotel, because the hotel has a really good, they have like shelters. For each room has its own individual shelter attached separately. So you like rent a room, and you can also get a tornado shelter, because I'm seeing tornadoes in the sky. You know, there's tornadoes on the ground, but they're in the distance. I'm in Huntsville. You know, there's something about that one area. What's that one? Like the something gardens. You know, when I'm on Google Maps, there's like the Huntsville Gardens, and then there's a map. I don't know Huntsville the map that well, but there was. I do remember the picture of there being the botanical gardens or something, and then so I'm in a hotel, and it's got special tornado shelters. And then I think Jason Bateman's in there. Not Jason, the actor, not the character. And then so I'm waiting around, and then somehow Blade is in there. Blade, like, oh, the vampire hunter, Wesley Snipes. And then there's some sort of big outbreak or something of like something. And then we're going around, and he's like, hey, do you want to get this suit? There's a suit I have that'll give you the ability to just rip the vampires in half. And then we're traveling around. I'm like, yeah, I guess, okay. And then he takes me to this place, and then it turns into Dream 2. Blade disappears from the second part of the dream. There's this whole montage of like either Skynet or the robots or the aliens or the vampires are dropping nuclear bomb waste. It's supposed to be nuclear waste, but then we capture the nuclear waste before it hits the ocean. But before it hits the ocean, somehow the dream just turns it into a skyscraper thing. You'd have to watch part 1 of this to understand part 2. But, you know, and Blade was in there, and he was like, yeah, you're going to get this suit. I got this suit that'll give you the ability to just rip vampires in half or something. And what else was in there? Tornadoes in Huntsville. They were in the sky, they were on the ground, they were in the distance, and then the dream, it was tornadoes, Blade, Huntsville, Botanical Gardens. So I really had to say this because I didn't remember it till I started talking about part 2. Because I remember there was a part 1, and then I was like, holy shit, yeah, Blade was in there, and tornadoes in Huntsville. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Because and it was like, yeah, because that was what the first part was, and then the second part was trying to capture nuclear waste before it hit the ocean, but it was actually nuclear components. Where was that? It was so somehow there was zombies in there, so the tornadoes turned into zombies or some sort of outbreak, and then Blade came in, and then it went into this big lawyer thing with Woody Harrelson and Billy Bob Thornton. But Billy Bob Thornton was a lawyer in that one TV show, but Woody Harrelson was playing kind of like that Texas guy from No Country for Old Men, where he's an assassin, but he kind of is dressed kind of like a middle level. He could be doing a professional thing, but he's an assassin in that TV show, but he's also dressed kind of like, you know, like a Texas lawyer, kind of like Billy Bob Thornton. And then so Blade and tornadoes in Huntsville, this is pretty cool. That was a pretty cool dream. I mean, there's probably some sort of meaning in there. I bet there's a meaning in that. I'm gonna figure out what the dream means eventually. That's gonna be pretty interesting to do. Try and figure out what that dream means, because that probably means something or something. So if there's a tornado in Huntsville today, I called it. I guess I don't know.